see the chat screen for the
Good
channel.
morning, good morning, good morning. It is Sunday morning. It is Mother's Day. I just want to say a special Mother's Day to everybody out there. Whether you're a biological mom, a stepmom, foster mom, teacher mom, or you've just influenced somebody in their lives in some special way, even if you don't know that you did. Happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a great day. Let us know how you plan on celebrating today. And if you have your mom still around with you, and you can give her a big old hug. If you don't have your mum, think about the good memories that you have, like I do on Mother's Day, because unfortunately, my mum is no longer with us, but I still love her. I still miss her every day, and I always think of the good times. Anyway, I have brought along my good friend Katy from Greenland Quilter. We have been working on the something star project. I cannot remember the name of it. Rising
Star,
Star.
Star
Right?
Climber.
Star Climber. Okay. See, I can't. I struggle with names sometimes like that, and then the puzzle mystery board. I can never remember which colorway we're doing until we're done with it. So, there we go. Anyway, I brought along my friend Katy. I'll let her introduce herself. A lot of you know her already, but if you don't, definitely go check out her channel. And hopefully, the bot is working this morning. We had some issues with it yesterday, and I have no clue if it's going to work today or not. We'll figure that out. Anyway, Katy, let us know who you are, what you do, and all that good stuff.
Hi, my name is Katy, and I'm an American living in Greenland. For those that don't know that, and I've been living here for almost 14 years. I'm married to a native Greenlander. His name is Nikolai. Um, I started learning how to make quilts due to moving to Greenland because I needed things to do. So I started learning how to quilt back in 2015. But I still feel that I'm not in the intermediate status just yet, but I'm doing pretty good with what I'm learning. I have a channel that will be 2 years old on July the 2nd. And I have on my YouTube channel, I share quilting, things about Greenland, crocheting. At some point, I would like to put a little bit of cooking in there if I can figure out how to put the camera by the stove without starting something.
That's a good idea.
Well, yeah, because I make recipes all the time. I mean, I have vegetable stir fry that I've created myself, and my husband loves it. So, and I'm also a tour guide here in South Greenland, and tourist season's about to, well, actually, it's already started. We've had 2 cruise ships come in already. We're scheduled to get about close to 100 of them this summer, which kind of scares me a little bit.
Well, that'll keep you busy.
Yeah, maybe too busy. We'll see. I don't know how many of them will actually be tour guiding with, because some of them come in and have their own tour guides, which I wish they would make a rule where they couldn't do that at all, so that the locals can do the tour guiding, because that's what should happen, is the money should come into our economy. Right. So anyway, we have that going on, and there's lots of things. We are at 17 hours of daylight right now. By summer solstice, we'll be at 22 hours of daylight. So last night, Nikolai took the camera outside and showed everybody at 10 o'clock our time. It was still daylight, and the sun was right in your face.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I've only ever experienced that once in my life, and I had to do that from 36,000 feet in the air. I left Los Angeles, going to Sydney, Australia one time. I think the flight left at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Normally, they leave at like 11 p.m. and you fly all night. I think we had about 22 hours of sunlight. It didn't set until right before we touched down in Sydney. So,
I was going to ask you, do you have the same effect in Australia, where you have, during the summer times, you have long hours, and during the winter, long nights?
Australia is actually a lot closer to the equator than the US.
Okay.
So no, we don't have those long days like you guys. I think it'd be fascinating to go to Greenland or one of the Scandinavian countries and experience that. I think the closest I've come to it on the ground was when I went out to Louisville, Kentucky last year in the middle of summer. Like the sun sets here at like 8:30, 8:45 out there, because it's still in the Eastern time zone, but on the very fringe. It doesn't set till like 9:45, so that's about as close as I've gotten on the ground. But as I said, in the air, I have done 22 hours of sunlight once, and that was fascinating. It'd be really neat to see. Anyway, let's see who was. Go ahead.
When I first moved here, most everybody knows that I'm always down at the harbor during the spring, summer, and fall, taking pictures of icebergs. And once a week, my husband would call me on the phone, and he can tell sometimes that I'm not in the house, and he'll say, "Where are you at?" "Oh, I'm down here at the harbor taking pictures of the icebergs." And he'll say, "Do you have any idea what time it is?" And then I realize he's called me, and I'm like, "No, it would be 1:30 in the morning, and I'm down there taking pictures because I have no sense of time, none, zero."
That's fine. Muriel says she had the same effect in Alaska when she was a teenager. It made her unable to sleep for long periods of time. Yeah, I think it would definitely mess your sleep cycle unless you had those really, really good light blocking curtains and that sort of thing there. But it'd be fascinating.
Yeah, I have light blocking curtains in our bedroom.
I think you'd have to, like, otherwise yeah. Like, I knew it existed because, like, my third grade teacher, he was from the UK, and he was telling us how, like, they'd be outside playing cricket at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, how can you do that? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But
during the summer months, we'll hear the kids still outside at midnight, and I'm like, why are they out and not in bed? Because young kids need sleep to grow their bones, and I'm like, where the heck is their parents at? Because my kid would not be outside playing at midnight. I don't think so.
Either, but that's between them and their parents, I guess. As long as they're not keeping everybody else up, I'm not going to get involved. All right, let's see who is here with us. We've got a nice little crowd. It's good to see each and every one of you. Molly was here first. She says Happy Mother's Day to everybody, and her stepdaughter is coming over to make her potatoes and pancakes. If Fort Worth was not so far away and expensive on a same-day ticket, I might have said, sorry, no live. I was down there eating breakfast with her. Tasha is here with us. Good morning to you. Good morning to Miss Muriel. Good morning to Miss Barbara. And Andy is here, says good morning, up early again. Happy Mother's Day. It's early out there in Arizona because it's only like past 5 o'clock, I believe. So what are we working on today, Katy?
We are going to be working on, Sean, do you have the link for the Star Climber, or do I need to go get it?
I can go grab it real quick.
Okay, so we're working on is a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. It's called Star Climber, and Kimberly's been working on her Star Climber too. There's actually a video that you can sit and watch, and she takes you step by step on doing both the courthouse stairs and the Star Climber. And the way she does it makes total sense, and Sean will even tell you that because he went and watched it, and she's very effective on how to do it. We've been showing you too, but so today we're going to work on the star instead of the courthouse stairs because I think we needed to do another. And this is is foundation paper piecing.
Yep,
it's what the star looks like. So basically, on this paper, there's 2 lines that go diagonal, and you cut those. You take the paper out of the pad, cut them diagonally. And you'll have 4 pieces that you're going to paper piece into. And then once you get all the paper piecing done, then you sew all 4 quadrants together. So it's not hard. You just have to pay attention to what sew line you're sewing on and what cut line you have. And I'm doing the 4-inch, and Sean's doing the 6, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yep. And it's nice. And I think I've mentioned this on a few videos before. I am very much a traditional piecer. I am the beginner when it comes to foundation paper piecing, but I found this is an excellent project for learning how to foundation paper piece, especially the courthouse stair block, because this is just all rectangles. Your traditionally piece brain will understand this because basically you are just sewing this. And so start with this one, get your traditional mind wrapped around FPP, and then you'll be golden. I mean, I think my skills like for Toasty and that have been so much, that process has been so much easier because of this. And it's a lot of fun. And this little pad has 42 pads, like 42 blocks, and it's like $9 or $10 over at the Fat Quarter Shop. So it's not expensive. And you can use your scraps. I think Kay's been using scraps. I have not purchased the first Yeah, I've not got out and bought anything for this. It's all been scraps. So I'll have to go and get some more background fabric. I ran out of black. So I will have to get some more background fabric for this. But it's a wonderful scrappy project. So that's kind of been the fun with it, in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and get started with this.
She's definitely made it affordable. And can I bring up something else that she brought up yesterday?
Okay.
There's going to be a sew along that she's going to start in August, and it's called the Jolly Bar something. I'll look it up. But anyway, yesterday and today she's got 25% off of all her Jolly Bars, and she's providing a free pattern, and it is so simple that it would be fun for the beginner, fun for someone who don't want to spend much time thinking about it's like this paper piece, and you really don't have to do too much thinking when you're sewing. But this pattern that she's sponsoring that they've created is one of those. But a Jolly Bar is 5 inches by 10 inches, and they're around. So they're around $22, and with 25% off, you're going to save around $5 maybe.
Well, it kind of covers you. I would think of it this way, like it probably covers your tax and most of your shipping, So,
yeah, and you don't have to buy. She has a new book out, volume 5 of the Jolly Bar, and those little books are $10. She's made some stuff really affordable. These little Jolly Bar books, and I can show you one. They're $10, and they have 20 patterns in it. And there's nowhere online that you can buy a quilt pattern for $2. Think of that. $2.
Yeah, very true. Because there's a lot of work that goes into a pattern. Like I understand why folks charge what they do, and that sort of thing there. But yeah, not being able to get something inexpensive like that'd be fun. I'll have to check into it. I had no idea what a Jolly Bar was.
Yeah, I'm going to show you what one looks like real quick.
Now that you've explained it makes sense. But
okay, so here's what a Jolly Bar looks like. And my Jolly Bars are quite old because I've had them a while. And this one is Garden Variety by Layla Boutique. But it comes in a package like this. And basically all it is a half of a layer cake. So with the sew along in August, you're going to need 2 of these. So you could get away with just using a layer cake, because you could cut that layer cake in half, and you've got 2 packs of Jolly Bars. And then she has these cute little books. They're on a spiral, so they're easy to just open and fold them like this. They're very colorful. And each of these little books, you get 20 quilt patterns in it. And I this past fall, they introduced their volume 1 of the Christmas Jolly Bar book. And it also has 20 Christmas patterns in it. So, yeah. So if you go over there and decide you want to participate, but you can, the thing about the pattern that she's offering is you could just use your scraps and get scrappy as you want to with it. You don't necessarily have to.
5 by 10. I mean, that's easy to cut.
Yeah, definitely. I bet everyone has stuff big enough from their stash to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a 10-inch piece of fabric, you could just cut it lengthways and do it 8 times. Yeah, so I mean, you got all sorts of options there. If you want to do the pre-cut route and make your life easier, that's an option. So yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I hadn't really paid much attention to it, but we might have to look into that. I'm not going to commit because I've got too many projects going on as it is, but that's definitely a good option. Andy says here, my code for FPP is F-taps, fold, trim, and add a piece and sew. That sounds pretty good. I like that. So we'll see how far I get with this.
And I'm not an affiliate of Fat Quarter Shop, just so you know. It's just that she had a live yesterday, which she usually doesn't do lives on Saturdays. And so I went and watched it. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a new sew along going to happen. And when I saw it, it's so simple. There's not much to the pattern. It's just so simple. And the quilt top that you get from it, depending on how colorful you get, could make a great child's small blanket, or it can make a good lap quilt for someone, or someone in a wheelchair. You can make it even smaller if you wanted to. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do with this smaller size quilt, or
Yeah,
you can make it big as you want if you want.
that's the beauty of it. You can kind of do, adjust it to be whatever you want, which is really, really nice. So yeah, I'll have to look into that. So I saw a notification yesterday about the Jolly Bar stuff, and I was like, I really have no idea what this is, but I'll figure it out eventually. And now you've saved me some trouble, so that's really
Yeah,
good.
go watch her video, and you'll see what I mean about how
Yeah,
simple it is. It's like, oh my god. I mean, you don't even have to really think about it. All you need is 40, well, 42 and 42 would be 84
yeah,
84 10 by 5s, and and then there's some background and some a little bit of background and sashing yardage that plays into play. It's really simple.
that's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really fun. I'll definitely check that video out and see what's going on there, because that might be. I'm always looking for a fun, easy project. I was talking about that on my podcast this morning, that I just finished my last gnome, and they're discontinued now. I think they may have some left, but I've pretty much got all the ones that I want.
I
So
think
now I'll
it,
have to find
I
find
think it
something
would
else
be
to play with.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I also think they would be great for, like, if you want to do a donation quilt to something, like to the NICU or to the
Yeah,
cancer thing. Or, I mean, because it's the right size where you don't spend a lot of money fabric wise, and you're not
yeah,
spending hours making it. It's a great little thing to use for donating or whatever.
that sounds good.
I think it would be great for kids blankets.
Yeah, and I prefer the smaller stuff anyway, because that means I can get it done quicker and I can move on to something else. But I get bored very, very quickly. I just know that about myself. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Miss Laurie. It's good to see both of
Hi,
you.
hi, Janice. It's good to see you this morning. Yeah, I'm awake.
I know.
My husband come in here last night after our live, and he's like, "Come with me." I'm like, "But," he's like, "No, no buts." And I went to sit on the bed, and the next thing I know, he's putting my behind to bed because he knew I had to get up
Well,
early.
well, thank you, Nikolai. I appreciate you greatly. Because that's always my biggest fear, is that someone's going to sleep in and I'm going to have to go live by myself.
No, I would not do that, Sean. And that's why
Well,
he had an alarm clock set, because he knew I wouldn't hear it.
well, I know you wouldn't do it deliberately, but I mean, I've slept in twice during my lives, and I've woken up in a panic.
Yep.
I think once was with Becca and Ian, and was it Tasha or someone else I slept in, and I'm like, I felt horrible, like so.
Yeah, it's, but
I mean, it
I let
happens.
everybody know last night about the live today, and there was a couple of them that said, which they were on Pacific time, which would have been what, 5 a.m. their time or
Yeah,
something.
5 for them. Yeah,
And they're like,
I'm
we're
on.
not getting. They said, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. I'll be asleep, but I will watch the replay. So I'm like, and I told them, I said, a replay is just as good as watching the live.
It
You know,
is. I mean, a
it's
view's a
still
view.
the watch hours.
The only difference is you don't get to participate in the
Yeah,
live chat.
yeah,
Other than that,
exactly.
it's no different. We still get the views, we still get the watch hours, we still get the ad revenues. So yeah, don't ever feel bad about watching a replay. If you're out with your family or you want to sleep in or whatever, don't feel bad. Like we don't, we're not looking down on you saying, well, you need to be here. It's like, yeah, watch the replay. It counts just as much.
Yes, it
Just
does.
make sure you hit that like button either way, and we'll be happy go lucky. All right, so I'm almost done with my first panel. These things go together super quick, which is nice.
Well, I'm sitting here putting lines on this paper so I can see this 1/4 inch line.
Oh, okay.
I always do that because I don't have a light box or anything.
Right.
It's
Hey, whatever works for you.
mostly has to do with my eyesight. I'm having trouble with my eyes again.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing things that help compensate for it to make it less straining on my eyes. I'm in need of new glasses really badly because my eyes have changed again. But buying glasses here would cost us close to $1,200 US, and I'm trying to hang in there and try to do it when I go to the United States next year.
Yeah, that's
At
a good
least
idea.
I can stomach paying $500 for glasses versus $1,200 for glasses. And I'm
Yeah,
going to go. Go ahead.
I was just saying, if you can wait that long, that's definitely the way to do it. So
Yep, I'm going to wait. I'm going to try to wait. Put it that away. All right. Now
this
let's.
is what I've got done so far.
Oh, that looks good, Sean.
Yeah, I just
I
got to
like
trim
that.
it, just trim it up a little bit, but I'll do that at the end. But yeah, it comes together super, super quickly. All right. Good morning, Miss Donnell. It's good to see you. She'll be live in just a little bit. I think she's going live around 10 this morning for her Mother's Day live. So once you're done hanging out with us, you can go visit her. And then I think Donna is live at 9. She usually goes live at 9 on a Monday. Today's not Monday unless you're in Australia or New Zealand. Well, New Zealand right now. But yeah, so you got plenty of replays and other good stuff to do with. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not wording well this morning. I don't know why, but okay. Let's see. So what else is everybody else up to? I know we're working on this. What are you all doing today? Planning on doing are you planning on sewing a little bit today? Are you planning on hanging out with family? Taking a nap? Taking a nap sounds good, but I don't think I'll have time for that.
Do you have plans today?
We do. After this, I will talk to the kids. We always talk to what we call our alumni, the kiddos that have already gone back home to Europe. And then I'll run out to the store and then I'll start prepping dinner because Amanda's parents will come over. We'll hang out with them for Mother's Day. They want me to do a cookout, so we'll do hamburgers, hot dogs, maybe some bratwursts. We'll do a pavlova, which is a traditional Australian dessert. It's like a meringue with fruit on top. So yeah, we're going to have a good afternoon here at the house, and if I'm lucky, I might be able to sneak in some sewing time as well. So we'll see what happens. But if nothing else, I do get to sew with you guys this morning, which is always fun. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. What do you guys got planned?
Are you going to be sad when the girls leave?
Always. Yeah, it's always sad. I mean, we love having them here, and it's always sad to see them go. But, they have to go home. They do have their own parents to go hang out with, and that sort of thing there. And then, yeah, we'll have a couple of months off, and then we'll get ready for the next ones. Because August rolls around very quickly.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, Donnell says she has family gardening and sewing for her. That sounds good. And Muriel says sewing is required for me. It keeps me happy. That we need to put on a T-shirt. I think that'd be a really good T-shirt. Right, might have to snag that line and stick it on a T-shirt somewhere at some point. I think that'd be really fun. I'd buy a T-shirt that said that. All right, so what else have we got going on? What else have you been up to, Katy? Because I haven't talked to you much recently at all. I've been crazy busy, as always. Never a dull moment in my life.
You're right. We haven't conversed with each other for a while, for a hot minute anyway. Well, Nikolai's home, which you know.
Yep.
And so we went out last week. We were out. We did a live down from the harbor because it was lots of icebergs down there last week, and so we're going to be doing some hiking probably soon, and then we've got a tourist season starting, and we're not really going to go anywhere this go around that he's home, but when he comes back in August, we have a planned trip to Nanotalik. And the reason we're going to Nanotalik is because there's a forest next to Nanotalik. You have to go by. We're going by boat to Nanotalik, but we're not. I don't know if we'll stop actually in Nanotalik, but there's a forest that's just a few kilometers away from there, and we're going to go there. I've talked to Torben, and Torben's game for it. So we're going to, because he has a boat and we don't. And we're going to go see the forest, and I'm going to video the forest because the forest was put in 1954.
That's fun.
And the trees are around anywhere from 5 to 10 not kilometers, darn it. They're anywhere between 5 to 10 meters tall now. So
About 16 to 32 feet.
Yeah. So anyone who says there's no trees in Greenland, you don't know what you're talking about. And most of the trees are down here. I mean, our town, since I've been here in our town, there was a few trees spot here and there. And there's a house up on Princess Mountain that has this big, huge garden that someone put in probably not long after they built their house. And some of those trees are probably as old as the house is. And they are huge, those Arctic willows. I mean, the bases of them are truly amazing. So that's one of our plans. We have some stuff we have to do to the house. I think we're going to replace our boiler door. We're going to put in some raised beds so I can grow some vegetables this summer. So stay tuned for that as a video probably, because I want fresh vegetables. So if you're going to, I'm sure someone's going to ask, well, what are you going to plant? Mustard greens is one of them. I'll probably do mustard greens, collard greens, lettuce, carrots, potatoes, spinach, and whatever else I can come up with, and some wildflowers.
Sounds good.
Yep. And outside of that, we'll probably go on a couple. I think before Nikolai returns back to work this go around, I do know we're probably going to go out on the boat with Torben and them to go either fishing or hunting. I'm not sure which. Seal hunting has started, and I think cod is the next thing in line, and okay. I think it's seal, cod, then reindeer, and then salmon, because salmon's the last on the list of things to hunt. But there's also other things they do. There's other types of fish they catch, and crabbing, because we have big, huge crabs down here. So, yeah. So the plan is it. So at least I'll have some footage of us going out on the first trip out, and we'll see what happens from there. So it doesn't sound like much is going on with us, but you know.
That sounds good. Just trying to get this to line up. Oh,
you know how that goes.
Yeah. Oh, that's one question I wanted to ask you is, like, I know you do tours around your little town in Greenland. So what do you guys, like when a cruise ship comes in and you take the people on the shore excursion, what sort of things do you show in the town? Like what are the highlights and that sort of thing there? Because like I've got no idea. Like I'd be interested to know.
That's a good question. So for me, when I first started tour guiding, and I've been tour guiding since 2012, so I put in time with her. I think I'm at 11. Let's see, I'll be 14 years in August. So I technically have been working for her for 13 years. So I started out as a city tour guide, and what a city tour is I have an area scouted out that consists of the colonization area, which is right downtown of Kukordak. So it has all the colonial houses down there, the original ones. There's one of the buildings was built in 1804, and it was what you call a prefabrication. So they had a Danish, Norwegian architects get together, and they created plans to create this building, and they built it in Denmark like a Lego kit. And they marked it like you would a Lego kit. They took it apart and they put it on a ship and they shipped it here. And I take the tourist over to see the markings because they're made like railroad. You know the wood that's made on railroad ties that are in the United States? They're soaked in creosote, and they're these big, huge timbers. Well, this which now is the museum, but back then it was used for something else. It's like a log cabin, but from those type of timbers covered in creosote. And it's a 3-story building, and it has markings on the outside You can go all the way around the building. You'll see these markings that's been like carved into the wood. And that's how they put that building back together when they brought it to Greenland in 1804. And the beauty of this building is how many, I want to see how many in the chat knows who Charles Lindbergh is. Let's see how many knows who that is.
I've heard of him. He was something with aviation, right?
Yep, that was part of what he did. Yep.
First across the Atlantic, or am I?
Yeah, he did.
I didn't Google it. You could all see I have not got my hands on any computers.
So he was best friends with a man called Rasmussen, who was a Danish guy. And him and Lindbergh were like best friends. And Lindbergh would fly his little prop plane to Denmark. And then from Denmark, he'd fly it over here to Greenland. And him and Rasmussen spent years trekking across the ice cap. They put in, I think, 18,000 kilometers between the two of them. And a woman, but I call her Arna for short because I can't exactly pronounce her name. But she went on their excursions with her. She was the first Greenlandic woman to do this. And she kept most of the people who went on these excursions alive because she knew how to live in the Arctic. And so part of my tour is about that. It's also about Stone and Man, and Stone and Man is an open museum that was created by Aka Hoag. The Hoag family has a lot of history here in Greenland. Her grandfather was a master builder, so he built houses. We have a fountain in the middle of town square that's 7 years away from being 100 years old, and he built that. And he used, besides the metal part of the fountain, up on top is some whales, and water comes out the spouts of the whales. And down around the bottom where the fountain is actually built is built from what they call Igaliku sandstone. And that meant that they had to go to Igaliku, that's where one of the Norse ruins are at. That whole area is full of red sandstone. So they cut the sandstone, put it on a boat, because back then they didn't have big ships, put it on a boat and brought it up. And the ride from here to Igaliku is about 2 hours. So they transported it from there to here to build the fountain, and all the stone that you walk on is also made from the red stone. And when they did the Stone and Man, that was started in 1993, and it ran from 1993 to 1994. And they brought in 18 artists, and the artists came from Nordic countries, and one came from Japan. And they 25 pieces, but now we have 40 of them. And one of my goals this summer is I'm going to find all 40 of them, document them by photography and for videos, and I'm going to do a Stone and Man video about Stone and Man, so you guys can learn about Stone and Man, because it's really cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'll be lots of fun. And
definitely check out Katy's channel. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, definitely check out Katy's channel. I'll go grab a link again real quick I had it here a second ago.
And but now besides the city tour, I think my boss has decided that she wants the younger ones to learn how to do the city tours. So she's kind of taken city tour away from me, sorta. I mean, if she's short of help, she'll say, "Can you do a city tour?" But mostly now, my job is doing the tannery. That's what my job is now. Okay. And we're the only tannery in all of Greenland. It's called Great Greenland, and I take tourists in there to see the factory. They're allowed to take pictures in the shop, and there's this. We start in this one room that shows history about seal hunting and how seal skin came into play. Because one thing that I definitely try to educate any tourists that come through there, a lot of people assume that that there's companies, because you know how misinformation is, and stories get told that they have companies who come in and massacre a bunch of seals for skin. That's not what goes on at all. The seal skin that we have here that's made into jackets and stuff comes from locals all throughout Greenland. Some hunters have been feeding their family seals for generations, and you can only use so many seal skins. And because they're taught not to waste anything, they send the seal skins down here, and they're turned into jackets and boots and mitts and other things, and then it's sold out into the public. And so I get to show them the history of it, the culture of it, the whole thing. And I think it's a great learning process for most that come through there. Because sometimes they'll ask a question and they'll say, I heard this. And I'm like, nope, that's not true.
I think it's really neat. Like, I've done shore excursions in different cities on different cruises I've been on. It's always interesting learning about the different places you go to. So yeah, it's really neat you get to do that. And you met at least one of your viewers on one of those tours, right?
I've met 2 quilters actually. And then when I went to QuiltCon, one of them was at QuiltCon again, and she's hitting you up. Do you know where Katy is? You remember that?
That was Teresa, wasn't it?
No, that was Kathleen.
Kathleen. Okay, I knew it was one of them.
That was Kathleen, because she came on a cruise, and how we found out about each other is I had posted on 2 or 3 people's lives. I said, if anyone's doing cruises to Greenland, let me know. Hit me up. Maybe we can have coffee, or I don't drink coffee, but, or maybe we can have lunch at the local cafe if you're in town long enough. And she messaged me and she says, I'm going to be in your town in such and such time. And it was her. And then there was another woman with her husband, because me and Nikolai ate with her and her husband. And we spent a pretty good amount of time, because I didn't have any guiding that day that she came in. That was one of the cruise ships that had their own guides. And so me and Nikolai took her around town, and then the other couple we took around town and showed them stuff. And I've met quite a few Americans that are quilters just from my tour guiding, because when I'm inside of Great Greenland, I'll say, any of you guys quilters? And people will raise their hand. They're just not aware of my YouTube channel at the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many channels out there. I think we're still pretty small fish compared to some of them out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But we appreciate everybody that comes out and hangs out with us for a while. Yeah, so while we're talking about travel, why don't we ask in the chat, and if you're watching a replay, I'd love to hear your answer on this one as well, is where is the furthest distance you've traveled, or the most exotic, or the most fun place that you have been to?
I think that's a great question.
Yeah, so what about you, Katy? Where would be the furthest or most exotic or most memorable place you've been? Because I mean, you've been to obviously Denmark, you've been to the US, you've been to Greenland a couple of times from what I hear. So
Greenland was probably my furthest.
Right.
So I'll tell you a short little story. My first flight ever on a jet was when internet first came out, and I was doing internet relay chat, and I hung out in a channel called Newbies, and that channel was massive over time, and I had been in there, I guess, a couple years. And I was in other channels too, but that one was the main one. And I became friends with a group of those people in there, and they decided they were going to do what they call a IRC party, and they scheduled it to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now, I had never stepped foot on a plane, much less been anywhere that far north. It was a real treat. So that was my first flight. And then after that, I went to New York twice. And on one of the trips to New York, I went to New Jersey, and because I spent I think 3 weeks up there. And then in 2001, I flew me and my kids to San Diego, California. And because I had met some really more IRC friends, and and I had been with them before because originally her husband Blue, um, he was in the Navy, and so the reason they were in New Jersey is they were at the Navy Air Base there, and so they were living right on the base. So I got to see some of the base while I was up there. So when they moved to San Diego, because his job took him over there, they invited me and the kids to come and spend a week, or I think we spent a week and a half with them or something like that. And it was interesting because my dad was in the Navy too, and I was 5, which would have been 1967. He got out of the Navy and moved us from San Diego to Florida. And I have only like brief remembrances of San Diego, sorta. Right. But when I took the kids to Blue took us to the zoo. When he took us to the zoo, I got to pay attention to what I'm doing too here while I'm talking. When he took us to the zoo, I felt like I had been in that place before, and I couldn't figure out why it felt familiar. So I called my mom from California and I said, "Mom, I remember I knew we had lived in California, in San Diego while Daddy was in the Navy." And I said, "Did you ever take me and my sisters to the zoo?" She's like, "I took y'all every week." And I'm like, "Really?" And she says, "Why do you ask?" I said, "Because I have my kids here in the San Diego Zoo, and I feel like I've been here not once, but multiple times. It's like deja vu." And She says, "Yeah, I used to take y'all all the time," is what she said.
Well, my understanding is that San Diego Zoo is like one of the better ones and like one of the best in the country.
It is. I didn't feel so. I was younger back then, of course, now, and now I'm more sensitive to it now for some weird reason. I didn't feel so. Well, there was a couple of cages where I felt sorry for him. There was a rhinoceros all by himself. I felt really sorry for him. An interesting thing came out of that pic. I took a picture of that rhinoceros, and I have all my pictures over on Flickr. And the San Diego Zoo also has an account on Flickr. And I got an email from the San Diego Zoo asking if they could post that picture I took of their rhinoceros.
Oh, that was nice.
It's such a good picture, of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow, that's really cool. It surprised me. And so we went there, and we went to Balboa Park, and I had like deja vu in Balboa Park. And we also went to Coronado. And the thing is the one in Coronado, my mom asked me if I took the kids to Coronado. I said, "Yeah, we've been." She says, "Here's one for you." I'm like, "Okay." She says, "When we lived in San Diego, Coronado did not have that bridge that's there."
Oh, okay.
They used a ferry to go back and forth over that bay.
That's interesting.
But I don't remember the ferry, but I remember being took to the Navy base and getting my teeth cleaned. That's the only recollection I have of the Navy base.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy. Katie, did you go to Chula Vista? Yes, we did.
Okay, I was about to ask you that question, but you beat me to it, so that's good.
Yeah, we did. We went. I got in trouble by Blue because when we went to Balboa Park, they have a cactus botanical gardens there, and I just let the kids take off to look around at all the plants because they were used to going to botanical gardens in Florida. And oh my God, you'd have thought I committed a cardinal crime. Blue chewed my butt out. He says, "You do not let your kids get out of sight here in California." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he says, "You're from Florida and maybe things are laid back and you don't worry about your children so much there when you take them to places like this. But here in California, they can easily disappear." And I would have never given a thought to that in a million years.
No, I wouldn't have thought that either. Because like you see all these kids running around the movies in California, and they're like out for days. So
yeah. And that's not the first time I've gotten in trouble about doing something like that. When I went to New York, and Melanie and Michael were with me, and I was taking pictures in Manhattan, and I didn't think anything about doing it. I kept setting my purse down on the sidewalk so I could use both hands to take pictures of the architecture. And
Yeah.
Blue's and Michael's like, you cannot do that. And I'm like, why not? He says, oh my God, you really are small town, aren't you? I didn't even know what that meant. He says, somebody will come through here, knock you down to disorient you and take your purse. I'm like, they would do that? That's how innocent I was.
Yeah. I mean, I came from a small town too, but I guess someone taught me some street smarts. So I don't know.
Well, I didn't have no street smart because, I didn't worry about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now when I go out, I have across my shoulder, across the body purse now with security stuff on it. And
Yeah.
but back then I was young and didn't know any better.
Well, good thing is nothing happened to you and you learned a valuable lesson. So, and you didn't learn it the hard way. So that's
Nope.
a good thing.
It was a teaching moment. I mean, he was just Michael.
Yeah.
Michael's the kind of guy that when he wants to make sure that you understand the gravity of something, he don't cut.
He doesn't candy coat it.
No, he doesn't. That's what I was trying to come up with. He does not candy coat because you can't, because he's a New Yorker and he knows the ways of New York.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
For some reason, I think I did something. Wait a minute.
All right, so I'm just going to go through the comments real quick because a couple of things I just want to bring up. Kathleen says here that was great information about the seals. Northern Indigenous people in Canada have been hunting seals forever, and seal skin is not just warm and water resistant; it's natural, biodegradable, and very soft. One of the Christmas ornaments you gave me last year was seal skin, right? That red.
Yep.
Yeah, it's super soft. Yeah, I think it's really neat that I have that. So, yeah, she's definitely right there. She's using all the animal respect. And then Annette says her most memorable moment was going to Salzburg, Sweden. I'm probably butchering that name. Was able to go to my grandfather's childhood home. That was amazing. That's awesome. And then Christina is actually from Sweden.
She's from Sweden. Yeah.
Yeah, she said she's still in North Carolina. I'm heading back to Stockholm on Wednesday. So that sounds fun. We asked about that. Okay.
It's interesting when you fly to Denmark or in and out of Denmark or Amsterdam, even because I've flown in and out of Amsterdam too, I really don't notice any kind of bad things going on in either place when you fly in and out of those countries. They're very safe. I've never worried about anything.
That's good.
When I first flew into Copenhagen, the very first time to come visit here, because that's what the plan was, is for me to visit so we could see how my asthma would react to this weather.
Right.
And that airport was intimidating because it was so big. I am having trouble remembering how to do this.
I had that problem too earlier, but I've gotten it sorted out.
I'm not got it sorted out.
That's all right.
What the heck?
I think it's good to show the struggles, because, none of us are perfect and we all struggle. And sometimes we see the videos where everything just goes oh so perfectly. And then we're all like, well, why can't I do that? So.
Yeah, these angles always tease me anyway. I just got to get this going in the right direction. That's all it is.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. I had that moment like 15 minutes ago where I was like, how does this thing fit? And then it just like clicked, and now I've been like racing along ever since.
Yeah, I think it was. I had this on the wrong side. That's all. Now I think I've got it figured out now.
Oh, good.
So I guess if I had to answer you, the furthest I've been has been Greenland because it's the longest flight of all of them. But I've been the countries I've been through via hopping from one jet to another jet has been the UK,
right,
France, Amsterdam. I think there's one other country. God, I can't think of it right this minute. Oh, and I've been to Iceland. Actually,
Oh, nice.
Iceland might be even further away. And
Yeah.
I've spent a couple of nights in Iceland actually.
Oh, nice.
Ice-
Yeah. Haven't.
Iceland, Iceland is this. The best way to describe Iceland is it's like this. It's so cool. What struck me and dumbfounded me the most was how clean, number one, it was. Number two, it looked so Euro. I mean, totally looked Euro. You would never
Okay.
think of a small little country with ice caps and volcanoes would have little cities and towns that look so European. It was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's kind of what I've seen. Like, I've only ever seen pictures of Iceland. I haven't been. The closest I've been to Iceland is probably Prince Edward Island, Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah,
But yeah, it just looks like a pretty place, and it's something. Yeah, it, definitely a place I'd want to go someday.
I
Um,
want to go
but
see the volcanoes.
oh, it is fascinating seeing volcanoes in person. I've seen a couple of those in Nicaragua, which is down in Central America between Honduras
Oh,
and Costa
wow.
Rica.
I
And
didn't know you've been there before.
yeah,
Cool.
we went to Nicaragua 3 times back in the early 2000s. Our church used to go down there for mission trips. We'd spend a week down there, and like the day before we flew home, we'd do some sightseeing. So I've been on top of an active volcano twice. And we'd see the steam coming out. There was no lava or anything that day, which is probably a good thing. So that was fun. And then we actually went ziplining down the side of a dormant volcano the last time we were there. It was a lot of fun. But there was one time we were flying back to the US, and I think we were flying between Managua, which is the capital, and San Salvador, and I could actually see like the volcanoes out of the plane, and one of them you could actually see like the lava and stuff like just bubbling away in it, and that was really really neat to see. So yeah, if you ever get a chance to see a volcano in person, definitely do it. Um, it's really really neat to see in person if you get a chance to do that. All right, so
Definitely.
we've got some answers here. Molly says the furthest she has traveled is Japan. One of the best places and want to return to is Argentina. Yeah, that place looks neat. I'd love to go to Japan. My sister's been there with her husband, but I haven't made it there yet. One of these days, I might just go to Australia via Japan and stay there a couple of days on the way.
I would love to go to Japan too. My youngest daughter actually has been to Japan because she was stationed in Japan um, when she was on the USS George Washington aircraft carrier. They were
Oh,
stationed, yeah, and she was there for 4 years, and so
nice.
she got to experience her culture because her grandmother was Japanese,
Okay.
and so I'm hoping that the girls will. It would be nice if it was all three of them, but at least I think the girls might be able to do a trip to Japan in the future, and maybe they'll be able to find some of their grandmother's family. Hopefully,
No, that sounds fun.
yep.
Yes. So let's see. Muriel says my folks kept me on a leash and halter that was meant for dogs, and people gave them a hard time, but we didn't end up on milk boxes as a missing child. So begs dad and mom. Hey,
I get
hey,
that,
sometimes you
man.
got to do what you got to do. Melanie Taylor says she got lost and missed her plane in Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta is. I've only ever been there once, and that place is intense. I know, like my sister was intimidated because the last time she went home, she had to fly through Atlanta. So I said, "Look, just you know, just get on the plane, get to Atlanta." And I said, "I will. I'll tell you." I said, I'll walk you through how to get to your next gate from here." And that's exactly what I did. I figured out which gate she was coming into. I figured out which gate she was going to. I took a screenshot of a map. I drew it, a line of where she needed to go and got her to where she was, needed to go. So there's ways to do that.
I feel like the hardest airports in the United States to navigate is Newark and Dulles. Those two are the hardest, in my opinion, to navigate.
I mean, Dulles, Washington.
Yeah, Dulles is a pain in the butt.
It should be easier now because they've got the trains. It used to be you catch those buses from terminal to
Yeah,
terminal.
yeah.
Um, yeah, they've got an underground train now, so that should make it a lot
Oh
easier.
well, then that'll be interesting if I go through Dulles any time in the future.
Yeah.
But Newark to me is. I would rather go to JFK than I had Newark.
Oh, okay. I've never been to the only airport in New York City I've been to was LaGuardia, and apparently they've fixed it.
LaGuardia's okay. I don't mind LaGuardia too much. I forgot about LaGuardia.
Well, the last time I went there, that place looked like it just, came out of a third world country. I mean, I've been, the airport in Nicaragua looked nicer than that place, but apparently they've fixed it. So,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
think the governor was supposed to be working on LaGuardia and JFK.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of LaGuardia since, and it looks a lot nicer. So, I mean, it was like 15 years ago that I was up there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, don't pay too much attention to me now. But yeah, on that place, I don't know. To me, LAX is confusing because getting
I
from
haven't been to LAX, so I have no idea about LAX.
my poor sister, she called me in tears because she did not know where to go. Because she had to change, like, a lot of times you fly internationally, you have to change terminals. So you have to go outside the terminal and physically walk to the next terminal. There's no train, there's no anything else like that. And she
There's no
just had
tram, no nothing.
there's a bus.
Dang.
I think there's like a bus or something that might take you from terminal to terminal. And yeah, she just had no idea where she was going. She'd just landed from Australia and she called me in tears. And I'm like, okay, just calm down. Tell me where you are. What do you see? And she was able to tell me, okay, I can see Terminal 1. I said, okay, cool. Just turn right, walk 5 minutes so you see the building that says Terminal 3 and walk in there. So, yeah, that place, if you don't know, if you've never been there before and you haven't seen the maps, that place is confusing. San Francisco's nice. It's all connected. And a lot of the other airports like Dallas, Fort Worth, and that sort of thing, they have the trains that go between the terminals. So you can just hop on that and sit on it until you get to where you need to go. Houston's like that too. It's fairly easy to get around. Denver. I think I've been to most of the big ones except for Detroit. Here's a little hairy, but
I
yeah.
haven't been to Detroit, but I have flown. Well, maybe I have flown through Detroit. I recently, when I went last year, I got to fly for the first time through Boston. I've never done that one before, so that was interesting. Airport too.
Yeah, Amanda's been there. I have not. Amanda's been to Newark. I have not. So yeah, I guess there's a few. So yeah, now if I get the choice, I will fly through San Francisco versus. I mean, LA I can get through. But I first San Francisco, and now that they have a one-stop flight out of Houston, I think that'd be my preferred routing.
I think I've done Houston also. Either Houston
I love
or
Houston.
Dallas. It's either Houston or Dallas I've flown through once.
Which airline?
Was
it United or American?
I think it was United.
Then it would be Houston.
It was either United or Delta. I got where I don't like flying on United's planes.
I love their long haul service. Their international stuff is great.
This was short haul.
Yeah.
Just don't enjoy the short hauls.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with United. I love their long haul service. I usually.
But now the long haul, I have not done a long haul, but it'd be interesting to do one because I think it would be interesting to experience. Now the when we start the flights between Nuke and Newark this summer in June, that's next month. Oh my gosh!
I know you're not getting on the first plane.
Yeah, well, I wish. Can't come to US this year. Yeah, not this year. But it'll be through American Airlines, I think. Unless they decide to change companies. I don't know why Air Greenland's not doing the flying, but whatever.
I thought United was doing that too, but maybe I'm wrong.
They might be going to use. I have a feeling it's going to be more than American Airlines before it's over with.
Yeah.
But if Nuke don't get their stuff together, there ain't going to be nothing going on.
Right.
They're having so much trouble. From all of our perspective that live here in Greenland, it was a bad idea thinking that they could put that rebuild an international airport and put it in Nuke. They should have just rebuilt Kangerlussuaq and left it at that, because Nuke's weather is so volatile. It's just insane. I mean, one day you can fly, and then for the next 7 or 8 days you can't do anything.
Oh, it sounds like that place was Ascension.
is worse than Narsarsuaq ever thought about being.
Hmm. Yeah, I've
Well,
heard of
most of
things.
it has to do with wind and fog with Nuke. Mostly wind.
Yeah. Falcons shut you down too. I remember the first time I took Amanda to Australia, we ended up landing in Brisbane instead of Sydney, which is about 400 miles north.
I
And they
told
said, "Oh, sorry."
Go ahead, because I'm going to make a comment when you're done.
Yeah, there's this fog in Sydney, and they said, "Okay, well, we'll just refuel here." The fog's supposed to lift in an hour or two, and
Right. I can go ahead. Sorry.
so we took off. We floated around above my sister's town where she lived for about an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden, I see the flight attendants doing this, and I looked at Amanda, and I'm like, "We're going back to Brisbane." She's like, "What do you
Mm-hmm.
mean?" About 10 seconds later, the captain comes on. He's like, "Yep, the fog's still there. We're going back to Brisbane." And guess what? You'll be here for a while because the crew had timed out.
Yeah, that makes things worse. I've had that happen here in Greenland. Get stuck in Kingalusiwak because their time is out.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't want a pilot that's been on duty for 18 hours piloting your plane. You just
No, not hardly. No.
So, we were in Brisbane for about 4 or 5 hours. It wasn't terrible. They kept us updated pretty well. And once the fog lifted, they have a crew base in Sydney, and it's only an hour flight. So they flew a crew up from Sydney to pick us up, and then we went back down there. So we were it was 12 hours late, but we got there. So, that's fine. All right, let's see. Lisa says that the airport trains in Atlanta will give you whiplash. Well, thank goodness I didn't take one of those. Thankfully, when I went, it was like our gates were it was like 6 or 7 gates apart. That flight from Atlanta to San Francisco is one I'll never forget with all the screaming kids. I mean, we needed the super nanny on that thing like nobody's business, but that's a discussion for another day. Muriel says that Detroit's super easy. Mary says, "Good morning, everybody." So, yeah, no, this is fun. You never know what you got to get up to when you come out and hang out with us because we just talk about anything and everything.
And I sewed this on the wrong side again. We're having fun with this, getting back into the groove of it.
Use batiks or solids. You won't have to worry about sides.
I am using batiks.
Oh, okay.
I just sewed it on the not wrong side as in fabric wrong side. Wrong side as in the seams on the wrong side.
Oh, thankfully I haven't done that yet. Because I check everything like 3 times.
Yeah, I just put the seam line on the wrong side. That's all. It's okay.
Oh, it's easy enough to do. We all do it.
Yeah, and it's easy enough for me to take it out and put it on the right side I was supposed to be sewing on, which is this side. Yeah. Let's see. No, this side. This is the side we're supposed to be on. Okay.
So is anybody else doing this project along with us? I know some people have started, some have finished ahead of us. Because we're just enjoying the journey.
Some have finished their Star Climber?
I think so.
Really?
I think I've seen comments that said, that they're finished or very close to it.
Wow, I would like to see pictures of them.
I know, yes. If you are doing this, we'd love to see finished pictures or
definitely would like to see pictures of them.
Or in progress pictures. Yeah, at least show us what blocks you've made. We'd love to see that. Katy has a wonderful Facebook group. Or you can put it on our Discord, wherever you feel most comfortable or it's easiest for you to put pictures, we would love to see them.
Did I tell you that we're both me and Nikolai are down a laptop?
No.
Yep, we both know the good laptops that we were using, supposedly good laptops. Neither one of us can use our laptops, and we both have the identical same laptop.
Uh-oh.
Yep. So he's been doing everything on the desktop. And I know he feels like a duck out of water because he's at work. When he's during his off times, he would use his laptop to game on the boat. Right now, he doesn't have a laptop to game on.
Whoops.
Yep. And basically, I can't get into the operating system. I'm locked out of my operating system. I don't know what happened, but something did. And I haven't figured out how to get all my data off of it yet, but at least the hard drive's not bad.
Oh, that's good.
I'm just locked out and can't do anything about it currently.
Right. Thanks. Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys can figure something out with that, because yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I
That is
might
not my
just
area of specialty.
I might just see if I can't get the hard drive out of it, and then hook it to an attachment, and then download all the data that way.
Yeah, that might be
But
a
I haven't
smart
I
move.
haven't challenged that idea yet. I mean, I could reset the whole laptop probably, but then I'd lose everything on it, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah, just download everything and then do that.
Yeah, and then
See what
reset it and see if it doesn't. Yeah, reset it and then see if it doesn't fix the problem.
Yeah. All right. Branka says, Happy Mother's Day to all. Well, yes, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. I think we said that at the beginning, but yeah, for everyone that's coming in, Happy Mother's Day to everybody. I mean, I feel like a lot of us are mothers, even if we don't have our own biological children. Like our teachers are mothers, they mother a lot of children and nurses, and even if you don't realize it, sometimes you are a mother to somebody. You've made a difference in their life. That makes sense. Molly says Atlanta's one of the worst airports I've ever been to, not necessarily because the layout says service when I was there was so unfriendly and almost non-existent. So that's sad. Yep. I was only there in Atlanta for like an hour. So, I mean, I basically got off my plane, walked down to the next one and hopped on. So
Nikolai didn't have anything bad to say about Atlanta because that was the first time he'd come to the United States, and so he flew from Copenhagen to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta to Tampa, and he didn't really he I don't remember him saying anything about it. The only thing he said was when he got off the flight from Tampa and walked out the door, it was like going from the humidity and the heat like slammed him in the face. Well, he came in August, and we call that the dog days of summer.
I can relate to that because, like, when I went down to Nicaragua, like, it's again we went in August. It was August too, actually. Even though it's the middle of summer here, it's not, and we get a lot of humidity. It is nothing compared to the tropics. Yeah, you walk outside and it's just like the humidity and the tropical heat just smacks you in the face. Even though it was like 9 o'clock at night, it was like, we're not in Kansas anymore. So
no, we're not. We're not in Kansas anymore. That's right.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. So I'm almost done with my star, which is cool. So we got.
Well, I'm not, but I'm catching up. I am catching up.
Yeah, so we got this done here. I think it's turned out really fun. So.
Yeah, I'm not upset that I fumbled the ball here.
Doesn't get you anywhere.
What those of you who don't know me, what you're going to get from me is real. I make mistakes. And I don't hide those mistakes.
No, me either.
And I will fix a mistake on a live instead of saying, "Oh, I'm done." I don't do that.
I'll fix it once, but if I make the same mistake twice, that's it. So
I do it 3 times and then give up on it.
Yeah, three strikes and you're out.
Yep. That's what I usually do. And then I'm like, I'm just going to set it aside and come back to it later. But I've not had to really do that on a live exactly. I mean, I've had to do it 3 times to fix the problem because I kept repeating. My issue is I keep repeating the same dumb mistake.
Yeah, that's why I have a 3 strikes and you're out rule. Because sometimes if you're just doing the same thing over and over again, it's time for you to. It's to me, it feels like you need to give up. Like put it away for a while and come back to it another day.
And mostly the mistakes that I make have to do with an angle on something, and that's what I get nailed with is angles are my nemesis. As much as I love doing angled stuff, it's definitely my nemesis.
But have you found it's easier as you've got more practice? Like, have you found any difference? Oh, okay.
No, I still turn angles around the wrong direction.
As often though, like,
Probably not as often, no. But I
well,
still
there's
make
progress.
yeah, I still make them, and I keep. I know sometimes when I make a comment like, I don't understand why I keep repeating the same mistake, and it's not me being hard on myself. It's just sometimes it frustrates me because I repeat that same dumb angle error, and I don't understand why I do it. I don't know what's not clicking inside my head that doesn't say, "Oh, wait, you need to turn that around." I
Yeah.
mean, looking
Oh, I
right
think,
at it and see it's wrong, and not see it
yeah.
wrong.
But I think we all do it, and we all make mistakes. And I think it's good that we show the mistakes too, because I've
Yep.
heard so many times when I said, "Hey, I've made a mistake here," especially on the puzzle mission quilts. I've made
Yeah.
a mistake, and I'll have people come back and go, "Hey, I messed up on that exact same step." When I did the 100 Acre Woods to Pooh block, I was like the second step into that first block, and I goofed it up. And I think I was talking to Donnell, and she said the same thing, like she made the mistake. So yeah, don't ever think it's just you. I can almost promise you, you will not be the only one to make that error. And it's interesting that I've made mistakes, and and people have come back and told me time and time again I've done the same thing. So don't ever feel like you're silly for doing it. So that's my completed star. I think it turned out fantastically.
Golly bum, look at your colorful self.
Yeah, this is the scraps I've had left over from another project. I made like a fabric kite for somebody that one as like a prop and a play they did. I just had this
I
leftover
think,
fabric, and I thought it'd make a really cool star. And I
I
have
think
that
yours is going to
in.
be prettier than mine.
I'm telling you, black. This is kind of like the same most of the same fabrics. I think I didn't use the blue in the courthouse steps. Which way? Oh, there we go.
That's beautiful, Sean.
Yeah,
You're not able to see mine yet. I'm not ready yet.
that's all right though.
Okay, now I want to do two
Might get a
different
different
dark
size.
colors.
No, it's not. It's the same size. Yeah, and then these are some of the previous ones that I've done. These are just like solids and blenders that I've used on the pink and purple. That kind of gives you an idea of what I've done. So yeah, that's fun. And I've got a couple more that I'll make up as we go along. Let's see, what have I got? Where did my fabrics go? Oh, I'll put them right here next to me where I could see them.
Okay, so we'll put the dark green over there, and we're going to put.
Oh,
I'm just. I need a design board, darn it, or another spot to put something.
good morning, Miss Annette. I don't know if I said good morning to you, but good morning and happy Mother's Day to you. I hope you're having a good day. Molly says that she had to run, get ready for visitors. The house won't clean itself. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for being here. Shouldn't someone
Someone
else be
should be
cleaning the house
cleaning that house
today?
for her.
I know, right?
I'm just saying. Someone ought to be cleaning that for her.
I know. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm a little too far away, so I can't do it for her. Plus, I don't know if you want me cleaning your house.
Okay, so the short end can be this color.
It's going to be a beautiful gift. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this when I'm done with it yet. I figure I'll make it first and let that be future Sean's problem.
I think you should keep it
I might. I very well might.
because it's going to be beautiful. Like I said, yours is probably going to look prettier than mine because I'm using white background, and I don't know why I didn't think about using a dark background, but
I don't know. I've always just believed that the dark background, especially when using scraps or bright colors, it just turns out so, so nicely. Like,
yep, I need to start thinking about going outside my little box and try using darker colors as a background. I haven't
well,
really done that.
it's hard to go outside your little comfort zone. I think the only reason I did it is because I bought a quilt kit several years ago, and it had a black background. Like I like the design of the colors, and so I was like, well, let me try this dark background and see how it works. And I really like the effect of it, and I've just kind of stuck with it ever since. Plus, I've also figured if it gets dirty, black doesn't show as quickly as white does. So yeah, I think I've done like 1 or 2 white background quilts, but most of mine either have a color or black or dark gray or something like that as a background. I've just kind of fallen into
Well,
that route.
that quilt thing you see in the background of my camera, Sean, that has the gray. That's the first
Yeah.
time I've done anything with gray in the background, and I kind of like it. I think I'm going to add one more flying geese on the bottom, and then I think I'll be done with it. I'm thinking about it. I haven't decided yet. I might leave it that way and then go ahead and finish it, because this is just an improv little thing I worked on, and
Yeah.
I was just messing around to see what, just messing around with 3 colors: blue, orange, and gray.
There you go. That sounds fun.
Yeah, just to see what would happen. Because, yeah, that's all the color that's in that. And, it definitely looks very modern.
No, I think it looks great. Here comes my very best friend, Mr. Jack. Put these 2 on backwards. So you're not the only one making mistakes this morning.
We need to give the Ripper a different name.
Control Z.
We could call it Johnny or something.
Johnny, I don't know. I like Jack. But, everyone can call it whatever they like.
Actually, I don't even call it, I don't have a name for it. I just call it the Seam Ripper. But yeah, every time I hear Jack, the first thing, my brain automatically goes to Jack the Ripper. And that's why I made that comment.
That's what it's supposed to be, Jack the Seam Ripper.
Yeah, but Jack the Ripper did bad things.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think it's so ingrained in my head, I don't think any amount of things is going to...
Yeah, I know. Exactly, I know.
There's other names like the divorce lawyer. I think that's something that Brandy came up with.
The divorce lawyer? That's a good one.
Well, she says that you marry the seams together and the divorce lawyer pulls them apart.
That's actually a good analogy.
I know, that's what I thought.
I would have never thought of that analogy at all.
And as I said, I don't know if Brandy was, if that was something that... I'm trying to make the same mistake twice. I don't know if she was like the first one to come up with it or she just borrowed it and that's where I got it, her to say it. I don't know, but I just thought that was a neat way of...
That is a great analogy. I would have never thought of that one.
Yeah, and I like to use Control Z because that's the, on a computer, that's the undo command.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like if you want to undo like your last action, you hit Control Z or whatever the button is on the Apple computers. I think it's like that little fancy, I don't know, whatever. Command Z, I think it is on an Apple computer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess you could call it that, but yeah.
Okay, which color purple do I want to use? That purple or do I want to
All right.
I think I'm going to use the darker.
And that says exactly, Katy, Jack the Seam Ripper. This Jack is a good ripper. So yeah, I mean, you call it whatever you want, whatever makes you happy.
I wasn't trying to criticize. That's not what I was doing.
I know you weren't. No, I'm just playing along with you. It's all good. Good morning, Miss Marlene from South California. It's good to see you. It's bright and early where you are today.
So what is everybody's weather temperatures today? And where at? What state or country? Because our weather here has been freaky, let me tell you. Let me see what the temperature is here right now.
We were in the 70s yesterday. I don't know what it is today.
Well, currently we are 40 degrees Fahrenheit, but it's cloud cover again. And yesterday was a sunny day and it got up to 46 degrees. And I'm like, come on, let's keep some sun. But no, we have fog again today.
Oh. Well, it's currently 68 here. It's supposed to be 80 later on. So
that's
another warm day.
What's the hottest you've seen where you live at, Sean?
Maybe where I'm at here?
Yeah.
like maybe 105 or something.
Dang, it gets that hot there?
Occasionally, it's not often. Usually in the high 90s, but we also get a lot of humidity, so it feels a whole lot warmer than that.
I'm always amazed at where like in Canada, Toronto, they'll hit the triple digit.
Yeah,
And I'm like, they're so far north. Why is that?
but in relation to Europe, they're not that far north.
Well, this is true.
You know, because like where I'm at here, like halfway up the country in Virginia, we are in line, I think, with about Madrid, Spain, and then Toronto would be probably in line with like Paris, I think it is. So yeah, Europe is a lot further north than pretty much anywhere in North America.
Yeah.
That's something to think about. Yeah, I'm full of all sorts of useless information
I don't think it's useless information
or random information, whatever you want to call it.
because if your geography skills are pretty phenomenal.
And I had someone tell me that once because I work international shipping and most of my customers are in Canada. And someone, I was talking to someone on the phone one time and they're like, they mentioned some place and I'm like, yeah, that's like an hour and a half west of Toronto or something. They're like, are you in Canada? I'm like, no, I'm in the US. And they're like, how do you know this stuff? I'm like, just pay attention.
Oh, because I do it for a living.
Yeah, but that was just surprised that I knew where this place was, even though I'd never been there. I'm like, I like looking at maps. So
What amazes me is the amount of people who don't even know where the heck Greenland is.
we always like to play that game with the kids too, like to see how many of their classmates know where their country is. Like,
Yeah.
the main ones like Italy and Germany, they have a fair idea, but yeah, like the young lady from Denmark, half of them don't know where Denmark is. They didn't know where the Czech Republic is. Macedonia, they had no clue.
I told Nikolai that I probably could label a lot of the European countries if he gave me an empty map and told me what countries are where. But to be frank, I might could get maybe 65 to 70% of them right. The rest of them, no. If I had to label the Middle Eastern part, no. If I had to label the African part, no. South of America, some of them, all of them on Central America. But, my family moved around too much, so I missed out on geography classes.
Yeah, I do all right with Europe. I don't do with Asia. Oceania, I would struggle with on some of them.
What's Oceania?
Like all the little islands in the South Pacific.
Oh, gotcha.
Like Fiji, Numia.
I forgot about Asia, yeah.
That sort of thing there. Like the American Samoas, Guam and all that. Yeah, I'd do okay, but I wouldn't get an A. Asia, I think I'd be all right at. Africa, I know the west part of Africa pretty well. The east part, I'm a little fuzzy on. Middle East, I'd be all right. The Americas, I think I could do pretty well on. So, and then, yeah, Antarctica's pretty easy too. So, there you go.
I guess the reason I've chosen not to bother to learn the Middle Eastern countries is because I'm like, I'm never going to the Middle East.
Yeah, but it's still nice to know where it is on the map, I guess. So, let's see. All right, so weather, let's see. Marlene says yesterday in LA it was 101. Laurie says it's 57 in Central Virginia. Let's see. Annette says I have a Jack, Froggy, Rip it, and Freda, Fred's apart. Okay, that's cute. Mary G says 52, raining in Oregon. We got a lot of West Coasters here with us. That's really cool.
Wow, that's really good.
In Loves Park, Illinois. Where's that? I don't know if I've been there or not.
So some people are still having pretty mild temperatures.
Yeah, especially on the West Coast.
Yeah. The fact that who was it that I saw just said 40? Didn't I just see 40 degrees on someone? Or maybe I didn't.
No, I don't
Because
think
these
so.
are all 50s, and yesterday we were 4 degrees away from the 50-degree mark.
Yeah. Oh wow! Good morning, Rachel. She's another one from the West Coast. So yeah, no,
Hi,
that's
Rachel.
really neat. Yeah, Rachel's fan. She has a fun channel as well. Let me go grab her link real quick. because the Streamlabs folks are not working again today. They got one more chance, and then I'm firing them. I'm having the worst luck with bots recently. I don't know what it is. Nightbot quit working on me now. This is stuff not working. So I'm gonna put this piece of fabric on backwards. That's twice now I've done that. That's not good, but that's okay.
Have you looked at the newest addition to the monetization that YouTube has added about jewels and stuff? Have you looked at that?
A little bit.
It's kind of confusing. Do you think so?
I do. I don't understand a lot of it. I think the whole idea behind it is like, in different places like Facebook you can do whatever it is. And I think it's just to keep up with that. It's just a different way for people to do super chats and stuff, basically. Instead of just being a dollar amount, I think each jewel is worth $1 or something.
But so doesn't that take away from monetary for the creator?
No, you just earn. It's for it. You just earn that instead of dollars, and then they'll pay you in whatever it is.
I would rather get paid.
It's just a cute way of saying dollars, like, when you go to a casino, instead of playing with, like, if you go to a roulette wheel, you don't play with dollar bills, you play with chips.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing like that. You're not saying I'm giving this person $5. You're saying I'm giving them 5 jewels. It's the same thing.
But the person giving the jewels is paying actual monetary value of it, aren't they?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. So basically, they're paying for jewels for a creator who's not going to make any money off of it.
Oh, no, you'll get money for the jewels. It's just a cute way. It's kind of like playing with, it's just a different way. It's just a cute way of saying it, basically.
Okay, all right. Because that's why I was having trouble understanding. I'm like, why would I want to do that if it's going to take away from my monetization?
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, I'm not making any money. I'm not saying I'm making money. I'm not, but I'm. There is a little bit of money, a tiny amount, but I don't want to lose that.
Yeah. No, you're fine. It's just a different way of doing it.
That money I make, that money I make pays for my Canva and my Zoom.
Yes, for sure. Rachel says it sounds like bits on Twitch. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I mean, YouTube seems to be trying to catch up with, like the stuff they do on TikTok and Twitch and other things there as well. So I know they have different monetary units. But yeah, if someone does do a super chat or whatever it's called with these jewels, you would still get that financial benefit. So
okay, all right, that's why I asked about it, because I was confused, like, does this mean you don't get to make money?
No.
And I don't want anyone to think I'm making money. I'm not, but I do get enough to pay for my Zoom and my Canva, which is fine by me. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, for sure. So there you go. Good morning, Miss Carey. It's good to see you. Muriel says it's 80 degrees here in Lehigh Acres, Florida. So
I think I've been to Lehigh once.
The only part of Florida I've been to is Orlando and Cape Canaveral.
I've been to Cape Canaveral more than once. That hangar that had the space shuttle in it, oh my God, it's so big. Or it was so big.
I've seen.
Now they don't have the space shuttle anymore.
No, the space shuttle is retired. They're in 3 different locations now. They have one in Dulles, like the Air and Space Museum in Dulles. And then there's one in Los Angeles. And I think the other one's up there in New York on the Intrepid.
Oh, really?
I think so. Because the Intrepid used to have one of the prototypes. And then when they retired the space shuttle fleet, they swapped it out.
The prototype was called the Enterprise.
I think so. That sounds right.
Yep. So where did they move the prototype to?
That I can't remember. Another museum that doesn't have one, I would imagine.
My sister had big dreams. She wanted to be an astronaut.
I wanted to be a flight attendant, but then I realized you have to be under 6'1", so that dream went out the window very quickly.
Her dreams got dashed because she was a girl and we were being raised by patriarchal people.
I'm sorry.
So her dream went down the toilet.
Yep, no flight attendant for me. I was too tall, so.
And I think she would. She was a very driven girl, and I think she would have succeeded in becoming one because she had that drive, and she was healthy and didn't have lung disease or anything like I was born with, and so she could have succeeded in doing it because she'd always been like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's sad, but
yeah,
I guess there's nothing we can do about it now, right? So
no, she can't. But I'm sure she reminisces it because she has. We both were really into the space shuttle stuff.
Yes.
I didn't have the desire to go to space, but she did.
I think it'd be neat to go up there and see it once. That
would be the coolest thing, to be sitting up there above the Earth and see the Earth in all her glory.
That'd be nice. But I don't think I'll ever make it up there, so not my motion sickness. I'd be sick as a dog the whole time. I wouldn't get to enjoy it. So.
I don't know if there would be motion sickness on a flight or not. Do you get motion sickness when you fly on a airplane?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you really? You're like my sister? My youngest sister has to take drugs when she flies. Me, I only experience motion sickness on boats.
Yeah, no, I sometimes I feel queasy on a subway sometimes.
And the only time I experience that is if the boat's doing this, rocking sideways. If it's this motion, I don't feel it. But the minute it goes sideways, you can forget it. I'm going to be in there throwing up.
Well, then don't go on the Main of the Mist or the whatever they call it there in Canada at Niagara Falls, because once you get up near Niagara Falls, you are rocking and rolling like you're inside a washing machine.
Really? Oh man, I will have to take medicine then.
Yeah. If you have any sort of motion sickness, definitely take it before you go. It's a wonderful experience if you've never done it and you want to go up to the falls. As I said, it's a Main of the Mist on the US side. I forget what they call it in Canada. Hopefully one of my Canadian people can tell me what it is. It's a wonderful experience, well worth doing. Go in the morning before the crowds get there. But yeah, just be warned, once you get up close to the falls, you will feel like you're in a washing machine because those falls are powerful. Glad we did it. I had medicine. I did just fine, but I wouldn't attempt it without it.
Okay, now we got that side. Then we got one more to go before I can sew this star together. All right.
I keep messing this up, so I'm about to throw on the towel on this one.
Don't give up.
I'm just going to put it. If I mess this up again, it's going to timeout because it's 3 strikes and you're out.
Green.
One, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. Cindy said she saw the Discovery lifting off many, many years ago. I still had my T-shirt and wore it yesterday while planting flares. That is awesome. I would have loved to have seen one of the space shuttles take off. Yeah,
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them launched, and I've also seen the one that blew up.
Oh wow!
And
the one in the 80s or the one in the 2000s?
One in the 80s. And I'll explain. You would think that even though I was 3 hours north of where they were launched, you could still see it being launched. Once it hit a certain level in the sky, you could see it from up in North Florida. And it was super cold that day. We were below freezing in the middle of the day. And I was shaking my head like they had been struggling. They kept postponing it because it was too cold, and I'm like, why are you trying to put that bird in the air as cold as it is? Because that was the whole problem of them not being able to launch it to begin with. And I was standing outside, and I had forgotten that it was right around the same time they were launching it, and I was looking at the sky, and I'm like, what the heck? And about 2 seconds later, someone comes running out the door saying, there's a place here that blew up. And I was standing there looking at the whole thing and thinking, my brain didn't comprehend that it was the space shuttle that just blew up in the sky. But
Oh
you could see
wow.
the booster rockets going all over the place up there in the sky. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was sad because, the first teacher in space.
Yes. Yeah, I was only a young kid. I remember seeing it on the TV a few hours later because it happened in, like most things, happened in the middle of the night in Australia. So,
Yep. But I've seen they did a night launch, and that's the most beautiful thing you could ever see. I was down in Orlando, standing at the top on top of a skyscraper hotel at the very
right.
top, standing outside watching the night launch because you could see it all the way to Orlando, and it was so beautiful.
Oh, I'm sure that would have been nice to see. Let's see. Somebody asked if I've ever been to Quebec City. I have not, but it is a place I would love to go visit someday. It won't be anytime soon, unfortunately. But yeah, Quebec City would be wonderful to see. I would like to brush up my French a little bit more. I understand they speak pretty good English up there in Quebec, but it would be nice to be able to speak a little French before I go up there. So yeah, it's on my dream list.
That'll work on that side. Okay. Let's do this one first. All right. Let me make sure I don't have anything going the wrong way.
And so you're almost done with yours, right, Katie?
Yeah, I'm getting close to finishing this one.
Okay.
I just making sure I get everything turned in the right direction.
That's a
Are we
wise,
running out
wise
of time or
idea.
something?
I figure once you finish that block, we'll probably wrap things up because yeah, I've got things to get ready for today. But yeah, I want to try and get you finished if we can. Look, now my threads come out. Even my class with Muriel said I wanted to be in the Air Force, but in 1986 I was told they were not accepting females for pilots, and that soured my perspective. You basically said stay home and have babies. Even the
Yep.
boys in my class were offended by that statement as a result, so the recruiter left empty-handed. Operation failed. That's terrible.
Yep. That's how it was in the 80s.
No, I understand. It wasn't right.
They loved squashing girls' dreams. You're supposed to be at home taking care of babies.
It's not right.
Nope. That's the mentality it was in our country during that time frame.
It's unfortunately, like that in a lot of places. Carrie's asking, is this a paper piecing pattern? Yes, it
Yes.
is. Did
you find the link for that?
I did. I put it in earlier. I can throw it back in again. Hang on, let me just grab it since my butt is on vacation this week.
Does that happen a lot with Streamlabs or whichever one it is you're using?
It happened until this weekend, so I'm not quite sure what the problem with it is. But I ran into issues with Nightbot, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks in a row it wouldn't work on a Saturday morning. And so I switched over to Streamlabs, and now I'm having the same sort of issue again. So I don't know. I might just have to go without a bot because I don't want to have to switch it out every month if it quits working.
Why not leave both of them and then just turn one on and turn the other one off?
I don't know if you can actually do that. I think it confuses each other.
Oh.
I think. I don't know. I might try it though, because at this point I don't know what to do.
I did not know that.
Well, that's what I heard. As I said, that may be urban legend. I really don't know. But now that's on backwards. Well, that's staying. I don't care. No one will ever notice. I'm not ripping that out a third time.
Once I get into a rhythm, I seem to not be making as many mistakes with this.
I'm having
For
more
those
trouble
of you
with
watching us, it's not a hard pattern. It really isn't. It's just that if you're not paying attention to how you're laying your fabric on this paper piecing, you can easily sew the wrong seam line, which is what I was doing. And then you have to rip it out and put it on the right seam line. But
Yeah,
it's
like,
not hard.
no, it's not. And I should be paying more attention. Like you said, if you pay attention, you're fine. And I found
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm having more trouble with this courthouse steps block because I switched over to that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I ran out of black fabric.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I had enough to do a courthouse steps and a woven star, but not two woven stars. So I figured if I finish the other one early, I'd work on this one, and I'm having more trouble with this because I'm not putting enough focus into it. Yeah, the woven star came together really, really quickly. Good morning, Joyty. It's good to see you.
Hi, Joy T. It's been a while.
She's usually here, but yeah.
Well, I haven't seen her in any of. Yeah, I just haven't seen her. Put it that way.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Good morning, Dragonflies with Donna. It is good to see you as always. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Hey, Donna of Dragonflies. She's another one I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, she's been busy with different things. She pops in where she can. I think she does a lot of lurking too. She can't always be in the chat, but
Yeah.
she's been a good supporter of my channel for quite a long time. So always, and a lot of you are. If I don't mention you by name, it's not because I just can't remember everybody, unfortunately, if that makes sense.
Well, we're getting close to finishing this third quadrant where I can sew them all together.
Oh, nice. Good morning, Melissa. She says hello, everyone listening while heading home. That is good. Yeah, that's a question I need to ask. I always mean to ask and forget. Where is the weirdest place that you've listened to one of our lives? Because I mean, I know some people take me to Joann's or Home Depot and stuff. Be interested to hear where you've all listened to our lives from.
Yeah, I haven't taken anybody's lives anywhere. I can't see the screen. I can't see the screen, so
yeah,
I haven't done that.
And that's another question I keep meaning to ask people and keep forgetting too. Has anyone been to Joann's since they announced the closure of all the stores? I mean, I know Katy obviously hasn't, but
no, the last time I was at Joann's was last. And I went in there looking for something specific, and they didn't have it. Turned around and walked back out the door.
Yeah. I think the last time I was there was like. Go ahead.
I did buy some clothes patterns from them though last year. I bought a couple of tunic patterns that I'm going to make out of batiks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I was there in like January, February, like about a month before they announced all the closures. And like I just looked at it and I didn't see any like really good sales. You know, a lot of stuff was more expensive than before. So I decided to leave it as
yeah,
is.
I thought it was pricey for sure.
Yeah, and I figured I might as well just leave Joann's as I wanted to remember the good times. So I haven't been back since, and I don't think I'll be back there before they go out of.
But you know, I liked Hobby Lobby's fabric. They have such nice fabric, and it's so organized, and the prices on their fabric was just phenomenal.
I always forget about Hobby Lobby, but you're so right about that. It's always so nice. But,
it's so neat and nice and clean, and
it is.
And the prices are. The batiks were a little bit, tiny bit higher than the cotton, but the cotton that they were selling was beautiful. I mean, I bought several different colors, and they had a section where it was all solids, and there was so many variety of solids to pick from.
That's true. So, yeah, I'll have to go there and check them out again. If I haven't been there in a while, I have to leave my wife at home because when I take her, she finds all sorts of stuff. And we go home with about.
They have a great yarn department, so I can understand that.
Well, it's more the decorative stuff she likes. So, there you go. All right, we've got some more comments here. Muriel says you're doing fine. Also on a live, so don't beat yourself up. It happens to all of us at one time or another. My cat distracts me. Yeah, I'm not upset. I mean, I know this stuff happens, and I'd probably do the same thing if I wasn't on a live. But it's a good excuse.
Yeah.
Rachel says, I was thinking about yarn again this morning. I went in last month. It was full of big twist yarn. There's yarn everywhere. Fabric was still pretty stocked too. Okay, I might have to go take a look then. I don't know. I'll think about it. It's like a 30-minute drive, so I have to make an effort to go there. If it was closer, I would.
Sometimes making an effort.
Yeah, Muriel says hers closest is 18 and a half miles away. I'm not interested in their lousy sales. Yeah, I'd say mine's about 20 miles away too. So I don't know. I'll think about it. I don't know if I don't need more fabric. So
did you leave the papers on when you sewed all 4 quadrants together, or did you take it off?
I left them on there because and please correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I've always been told you don't take the papers off until you sew the different blocks together.
Looks like I need to trim this a little bit before I start sewing it together. But I need to put the iron on it. I need to put the iron on it too because I haven't used the iron on it.
Oh, I iron mine every step.
Well, I have to go back to that.
Yeah, that may just be an urban legend. I don't know.
Uh-oh. I just found one I didn't have a triangle on. I thought I set all the triangles on there. Guess not. I must have got distracted.
Rachel says things are now 50% off. Yeah, I figured I'll probably start whacking out the bigger sale like percentages now because I want to close their stores.
50% off for yarn is a good time to be buying yarn for sure.
Yeah, maybe I'll take the girls in next weekend or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So,
do both of them? What do they knit or crochet? The two of them.
Allie knits and crochets. She's the girl from Denmark. Eva is not a crafter.
Okay.
We have taken a pottery painting, and she likes that, but that's about as crafted as she'll get. It's just not something that interests her, which is totally fine.
So what does she like to do?
Watch TikTok.
Oh, gotcha.
Read. Yeah, she likes her stuff on TikTok, and she's a big reader. So
reading is good.
For sure. Yeah, Carrie says her closest Joann's is 4 hours away, so yeah, I don't think she'll be making a trip out there anytime soon. Okay.
The Joann's that I visited while I was in the United States, the last couple times I went to the U.S., like you're in Hanford, there's not a Joann's in Hanford. You have to go to Fresno. And then the one in the United States, the one in Florida, I think it was the Florida one. I'm trying to remember where I went to with that one. Or maybe it was North Carolina I went in one. I don't remember. Uh-oh, what's this on this?
So some of the folks have gotten some decent sales. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I saw someone post a week or so ago that they wanted to remember Joann's as the good time, like the good memories. And I'm like, that's a good point. I don't want to go in and see it sad and distressed and sick and that sort of thing there. So
I didn't realize people valued Joann's so much.
I always liked them. You know, they had, I got a lot of thread from there. I got a decent amount of fabric because, you know, if I wanted something, you know, more basic, I wasn't, you know, there were certain things I wanted, I'd go to a quilt shop. But it depended on what I wanted, you know, because it was closer, it was cheaper. I got all my batting from them because it was inexpensive. So I don't know.
When I was doing the Florida shop hop, we went in. I think it was called Machines Plus or something, but I could be wrong. I can't remember the exact name of it. I'll have to look it up. That store had everything you could ever think of that related to sewing. I mean, everything. It reminded me of the sewing stores that they used to have when I was making my own clothes as a teenager, because you could walk into a store like that and get whatever you needed. It didn't matter what it was. If it was fabric for different types of fabric for making clothing, zippers, snaps. I mean, anything anything, even things you wouldn't have thought of. And they also had different kinds of fabric in there, and some of the fabric was to make gowns with and other things. They had cotton for quilting. They had hundreds of clothing patterns. It was amazing. I was just, and these little tweezers, I
Yeah.
got my first pair of these tweezers in a sew sampler box. And if you go on the website of Fat Quarter Shopper Missouri Star, you find these are a little bit pricey for a piece of metal. They were $2 in that shop, and I bought 3 of them.
Oh, nice. Sewing Machines Plus. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I think it's called Sewing Machines Plus, something like that.
Yeah, that's what.
Because they had 2 of them. They had 2 of them actually in the same vicinity. One was in one city, and one was in a city like next to that one. The one next to it, one of them was small, and the other one was humongous. And the staff, they also had. I took a lot of pictures. I'll have to find the pictures and post them. They had all the little antique machines in there of the Singer featherweights, and they had the small ones too that were made from metal. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And they were all behind the mini ones were behind glass cases.
I'm sure, yeah, because otherwise they'll just grow legs and walk.
Yep. The featherweights were up on shelves back behind the customer service desk, and they had and different areas throughout the store you would see them. They were pretty darn amazing.
That's fun. Yeah, I've bought stuff from. I haven't been to the store, but I've bought stuff from them online in the past. I think that's where I got my Slow Steady extension table from, and yeah, I've been very happy with them. So it'd be fun to go down there one day and check out the store.
Yeah, especially if you can find a good sized one that has everything in it. Because when I walked in there, I'm like, it was like instant going back in time of when I first went into a fabric store to buy stuff to make my own dresses and skirts. And it was like, wow, I haven't seen a store like this in so long, because Joann's wasn't even at that level.
Right. Yeah, we have something similar here.
The fabric prices, they were meh, but it was everything else that they had. I really enjoyed going in it.
Yeah, Susan's. Oh, now the message is gone, but you're saying that, once Hancock's and that sort of thing now, with the patterns, like the clothing patterns and stuff, it's going to be hard to find those. Like, I don't make clothes, so it won't affect me as greatly. But yeah, I don't know where you're going to find clothing. I guess the local quilt shops will probably fill that void.
I don't know if they will or not. I mean, the small quilt shops we were in, not one of them sold anything that related to clothing patterns. It was just that, and that's why when I saw that, I'm like, wow. And they had, when we were in there visiting the store, they were really busy. I was shocked at how many people were in there spending money.
Well, that's good. Means it won't go anywhere.
Nope, it won't. Sean, when you did the, how you got the first trim line, and then you also have the sewing line, which is the dash line. Did you go ahead and trim down to that 1/4-inch seam before you sewed it together?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm thinking I want to trim it down so it can be ready. That way I don't accidentally sew on the wrong line.
Yeah, no, I trimmed all mine down before I sewed them together just to make life easier, so I wouldn't goof it up. Yeah, so for anyone that didn't see mine a little earlier, I found it a little quicker than Katy, but that's okay. We all work at our own speeds. And that's the one that I made in Katie's. So I think it turned out quite nicely. Oh, hang on, where did that all go?
And that's because I talk too much instead of just doing it.
Yeah, Rachel says she has a local fabric shop. It's not just geared towards quilting, but also clothes making, and they sell clothing patterns. It's awesome. I also buy my clothing patterns online. Yeah, we have like Fabric Hut, which is the one I talk about quite a bit, which is fairly close to us. It's very similar to that too. They have all the clothing fabrics. I mean, I think you can buy stuff for like wedding gowns or making your own like formal dresses and all that sort of stuff there, and they have all that cool stuff. So it sounds very similar to what you were talking about.
Yep.
I think it's interesting how different these all look, just changing the fabrics.
You know that the boutique fat quarter uh, bundle I had that's
Uh-huh.
using the boutique with the polka dots on it. That's what I've
Yeah.
been using on the star part of this.
Oh, that's cool.
I finally cracked it open. I kept looking at it and I'm like, I want to use it, but I don't want to use it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the purpose of this is not to sit there and let it sit and collect dust, you know.
Right. You got to use it at some point.
Yeah, it's just it was so brute. It was so pretty, just seeing it, wrapped in a bundle.
Yeah. But no, at some point it has to get used.
Yeah, and I have quite a few of those boutique bundles like that.
A good way to use them up.
Yeah, I'm trying to. What I'm trying to do right now is use most of the loose stuff first.
Yeah.
Because I haven't bought any fabric since November. The end of November.
That's
And
good.
with tariffs being what they are, I'm hoping that something will change at some point, because if not, I'm going to be in trouble because I don't have a huge stash. I have a decent stash,
Right.
but not one that can carry me on for years while everything's skyrocketing.
Yeah, I think it'll all balance out at some point soon, I would imagine.
I know that Moda went up on their fabric prices May the 1st to compensate for the tariffs.
It's an
They
interesting
made the
time.
announcement that they were going to have to, so
Yeah.
because Moda's fabrics come from Japan.
Right.
And the batiks come from the other Asian countries. So I'm pretty
Indonesia
sure
and
that
stuff.
these are going to go up too.
Yep. Well, it's a good thing I've kind of bought a bunch of stuff, so I don't need to buy any for a while. Okay, so I think with that, well, are you close to being done, Katie?
Yeah, I'm switching foots now so I can sew the four together.
Okay.
I had to press it and then
You're fine. Yeah.
Come on, switch yourself. Uh-oh, what's going on here? That's weird.
Once we do that, we'll go ahead and wrap things up because
Sorry, I'm just slow.
that's okay. You're fine. Well, thank you. Georgie says my hair looks good. Yeah, I got my hair cut yesterday morning after my live, and my hairstylist always does a wonderful job for me. So I appreciate her greatly. All right. So did anybody get breakfast in bed this morning?
What's that?
I don't know. Something I heard some people get. I'm almost done with this courthouse step block too, so that's good. Marlene says maybe some of the American mills will ramp up again. Of course, with the wages here, the prices won't go down. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think it'll balance out at some point.
I think
But
the only ones, I think the only people that are going to benefit from all of this is the rich corporations and rich people. Everybody else is going to suffer
yeah, you're probably right there.
because that's what this is all about, making money.
Yeah, just do what we
But it's going
can.
to hurt, small local quilt shops because, they probably will lose business because they have to up the prices of their fabric. And it's not like their fabric's the cheapest in the world to begin with,
Yeah, I
at
know what you
least in
mean.
my opinion, because that's the one thing I noticed about the smaller shops. Their fabric is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
And that's because they have an overhead to deal with. All right, now
Oh, for sure.
this is annoying me.
All right. So, well, thank you for joining us today, Annette. It's good to see you. Margie says, hi, what are you all doing live this morning? Katie and I do a monthly live together where we sew the Raising Stars. What's it called?
Star
Star
Climber.
Climber. I'll get it right one of these days. I know I had to look it up on the screen. Um, yeah, so we're doing this together once a month. So we do a special live on a Sunday morning. So that's what we're doing today. And we've been working on the woven star block. And I have finished mine, and I'll show it again in just a few moments. And Katie's just wrapping hers up. She'll be done with hers in just a few moments. So, yeah, we've had a lot of fun. And I'm also working on the other block, which is the courthouse steps. And after a few little mishaps, I think I might actually finish this block in just a few moments as well. So that works out nicely. Uh, Cindy says she's having brunch at 12:30, so she doesn't have to make breakfast this morning. That is awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Rocking along. We'll be done. Okay. And that. This thread cutter function on this machine is really nice for FPP.
How are you doing with that machine anyway?
I love it. Absolutely love it. I would buy another one of these again in a heartbeat.
Do you think you'll ever buy yourself a new one?
A new what?
A totally new machine?
This one basically is brand new. I mean, it was used in a class 2 or 3 times. So
Yeah, I'm talking about one where you pull it out of the actual box and that it's never been used.
I mean, sure. I mean, it just depends on what sort of pricing it is. Like, I got an exceptional deal on this. This is a $1,400 machine. I got it for $599. So,
Wow, that is quite a deal.
oh, for sure, yeah. Because I think the one I originally purchased was like 800 marked down to 599, and then when that thing got back ordered, I asked them about the price difference for upgraded model, and they said, well, we have a couple of these that have been used in a couple of classes. It comes with a full manufactured warranty. Well, if you're happy with that, we'll do it at no additional charge. And I'm like, you can't say no to that sort of deal. So as far as I'm concerned, it's brand new. Someone just broke it in for me. And it's been checked twice. It got checked at the factory, and the quilt shop checked it out before they sent it over to me. So yeah, I mean, I'm exceptionally happy with this.
That's good. I know there's a lot of Bernina users out there. I originally was going to buy Bernina until I saw this Janome.
Yeah, this is not a Bernina. This is a Farf machine. I did look at the Berninas.
Right.
My other machine's a Bernina.
Farf is made by Viking, isn't it?
They're all, Singer, Viking, and that's all part of the same company now. But no, I'm very, very happy with this. I looked at the Berninas, but the entry-level model for them was $1,400, which was more than I was willing to spend or had the money for. So no Benina for me, and that's okay.
One
The
thing
thing I
about it
like,
when I'm go ahead.
go ahead.
I was
No,
just gonna
ladies first.
I was just gonna comment that one thing about the machines on this side of the pond, the tariffs aren't gonna affect us over here
Right.
because these machines are all made on this side of the pond anyway.
True. And that'd be good for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
Joyce
I'm
says,
I'm postponing getting the M8 until because there's still inflation, and inflation has definitely drove prices up as far as sewing machines are concerned. So I'm just going to wait a little bit longer. Although I really need to send this machine in for servicing. I mean, I've had it for 5 years, and I can tell it probably needs to be serviced.
right.
It needs spa treatment. Hey, did I tell you how many straight pins I got out of the bottom of it?
Uh, you may have, but I've forgotten.
I finally pulled the bottom off the machine. I decided not to do it on a live because I couldn't figure out how to get the lighting just right so you could see what I was doing.
Yeah.
15 were in the bottom of my machine.
Oh wow, that's intense.
Yep. I'm like, that's just crazy. I
Yes. Let's
figured maybe
see.
5 or 6, but not 15.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a lot. Let's see. Joyce says far from a great machine. Workhorse. I've had one for years and love it. Cindy says it's a great deal. Joyce says Bonita accessories are way too expensive, and that is not untrue. I bought a ruler foot for my Bonita. What was it? 2 years ago, I think it was, and that foot was even with the what's it called? Like the show discount, which was like 15 or 20%. I think it was still like $110 for 1 foot.
For a
So
foot?
yeah,
And I was
or
talking about a $50 foot?
yeah. I mean, it's yeah.
Wow.
Bonita are expensive when it comes to accessories. Because like when I looked at the feet and stuff for the Farf, I mean, I think they were like 25, 30, $35 or something. They were quite reasonable. They actually like I wanted the 1/4 inch foot with the guide, and they actually gave me one for free. But even if I had to pay for it, it was like $29.99 or something like that. It wasn't terrible. Yeah, so Bonita, yeah, is expensive when it comes to their accessories. So something to keep in mind. Um,
That's even way more. Because the feet that are for these Janome are around $50 to $60. Other than they do have a magnifying thing I want to spend money on, and
yeah,
it's $100 for the magnifying thing where you can see the needle when you're threading it. Because I don't use the threader on here because
yeah.
it's the threader is a pain in the butt to deal with. It's not all these threaders sometimes are just look. This is the half of it.
Oh, nice.
So I'm about to put the two together. I just need to make sure they look right.
Okay, easy enough. Rachel says she upgraded her embroidery machine to a Bonita. I'm so pleased. Mine was also a classroom machine. I got a really good deal, even though the price tag was still high, but I knew that ahead of time. Yeah, like if they hadn't have told me it was a classroom machine, I would never have noticed. Like it
Only reason,
looked,
only reason I have decided I didn't want to buy a used one is because of where I live.
yeah, that's
I
true.
don't have access to technicians to deal with if a second-handed machine has an issue.
Right, that's true. Yeah, for me, it was like I wanted the machine. Like I'd already waited 2 or 3 weeks for it, and I was like,
Yeah, I
it
knew
was
you've
like,
been waiting forever for that one that you were gonna get.
yeah.
1 minute, I'm gonna press this and then I'll sew the other part together.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, that was a deal I couldn't walk away from. I'm more than pleased with it. I'm glad that we made that decision. It's been a wonderful machine. I would recommend it to anyone looking for a good piecing machine. I think it'd really do well at quilting too. I might get a extension table for it at some point and try some quilting on it because I think it's got like an 8-inch throat space on it as well. So it's got actually, I think it's a slightly larger throat space than the Bonita does. So, um, yeah. Okay, so the Viking walking foot was $150, a lot less than the Bonita.
Wow.
See, I need a walking foot for my Farf because it has a built-in one. which is really
Somebody is
nice.
shooting fireworks off at, what time is it here? 1 o'clock in the afternoon. In the daylight, like you can really see them.
Hmm. Okay. No, whatever makes them happy, I guess.
They're
So,
shooting a lot of them off from the sounds of it.
no, they will always wait till nighttime here for ours.
Yeah, they don't here. They do them in the daytime. It's hilarious.
Marlene says the banana travel cases are super expensive. Yeah, mine actually, like, mine came with a plastic case for it to travel in too. That came with it.
Oh,
So
it did it? That's nice.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever use it. It's in my attic right now, but it's nice that it's there if I ever need to use, like, travel with it or whatever. It came with it, so which was really nice. Margie says if you were in Houston, that would have been a gun. Oh, whoops. No,
It would
we
have
don't.
been what?
A gun, like someone shooting off a gun, not fireworks. Like the noise.
Oh, it sounds like guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird with the sound bouncing off the windows. It makes this popping noise like you would hear from gunfire. But I know it's not gunfire because people don't walk around shooting guns.
Right. I was just say you don't have that there. I can.
No, I mean people have guns. They just don't do that with the guns.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hunt with them.
They hunt with them. That's what they're for, not for harming human beings
Yeah.
or for shooting people. Well, that's
Sure.
not what I meant. Or shooting them for the heck of it. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to come up with.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. All right. So I'm excited to see how your block turns out when it's done.
Yeah, it's good. I think it'll be cute. It's not going to be as color with that black background you used, which is accentuating your colors. Mine probably
That's
won't
what.
seem as bright as yours.
Yeah. That's
But
what I
it's
like
still,
about the black background.
yeah. I wish I'd have thought of doing that.
That's all right. You can always try it next time.
That's right. Could always buy the 6-inch ones and do another Star Climber one because
There you
these
go.
would be
That'd be,
good. All
yeah,
right.
no, I'm really glad it's in black.
Give me a minute here. I'm
Okay.
going to press it and trim it, but I'm not going to take the papers off of it yet.
No.
I'm going to leave the papers on it for right now.
Okay. Then we'll do a big reveal, and that'll be that.
Man, this iron is really hot.
Well, that's a good thing. Don't you want it to be really hot?
Yeah, sometimes it goes to sleep and then I have to wait for it to heat up. And then when it does heat up, it's so hot I can't hardly touch what I just stuck it on, you know?
That's why I like these mini irons, is they don't turn off and they heat up in like.
I can't find a mini iron, Sean.
Yeah, I know it's hard. You can maybe pick one or two up when you're here next year.
Yeah, but then I will have to buy a special kind of
Body adapter.
adapter because irons and curling irons use electricity different, and I have melted a curling iron here.
Actually, these travel irons, they are rated. A lot of times you'll find they're rated 100 to 250, so they're actually good internationally too. And then,
Oh,
this
are
one's
they?
only- yeah. Let me check this one because it's.
Because that's the only reason I haven't bought one is because I've already melted a curling iron, and it was because, yeah, you know why.
Yeah.
I did it on my wedding day.
Oh, whoops.
Oh my gosh. Because I was trying to curl my hair a little bit because I knew pictures would get took. And then it ended up with straight hair because I melted the curling iron.
Yeah, what you want to look for, and I can help you with this when it gets closer, is look for a travel iron because, like the travel mini irons, because they are rated for dual voltage. And so, yeah, you just need to get your European plug adapter. They're usually lower wattage as well, which should help you out. And they still get plenty hot because they're just smaller irons.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because I would love to have a small one. Or even a small one. I don't know if they make cordless ones or not, but
I have not seen a small cordless one. No, I don't think they'd have enough
But
batteries.
yeah, a small one would be perfect for right here at the desk because I'm so cramped.
Yeah. No, that's what I'd recommend.
Let me see what size this block is. Oh, of course it is. But at least now I know I can trim it down some more. Okay, because I'm going to leave it at that size for right now. All right, whenever you're ready, I have it done.
I'm ready. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1. Oh, yours turned out cute. I like that.
I like it too. It's too bad the camera doesn't show that this is purple right here.
Yeah, we'll have to
It
take a
looks
picture
like-
and put it on put your
Yeah.
Facebook group and stuff.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then I also did a courthouse steps block.
Well, I have lots of courthouse steps.
I think I looked. I only have one because the other ones I made originally were too big.
I have
So-
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let me show all of them to everybody since you're showing yours. How many do you have?
2.
All right. Let's see here.
Yeah, so I'll have to go make some more of these.
The courthouse stairs are so easy. I really enjoyed messing with them.
See, I struggled with those more than I did with the stars. I prefer doing the stars, to be honest.
Okay, so here's my courthouse stairs. And they may all look similar, but they're not the same. They're different. So here's one with greens and blues in it,
Well, that's pretty.
purples and turquoise and
I
yellow.
remember seeing that one because it looks like it has the Argentinian flag in the middle.
Yeah. There's this one
That's
with
cute.
hashtags on it. Another color with purple and this is purple and teal.
Okay, that looks good too.
And this is a different one with a different color teal, but with the purple.
I think it's going to look great when it's all together. You know, I think they're going to be really, really nice.
Then there's this green.
Mm-hmm. I like that
And
too.
this blue and hashtag color one. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I think it's going to look absolutely fantastic when it's done. You know, with all the different size. Okay,
Yeah.
so Georgie's asking what size are the blocks. There's 2 different options. You can get the 4-inch, which is what Katy has, or you can get 6-inch, which is what I'm using because I figured I didn't want to make 1,000,000 blocks, so I got the bigger size, so I didn't have to make as many. So these are my
With
these are
the,
my
the so since you brought that up, let me mention this. If you're doing the 4-inch ones, let me see. I think it's still the same amount of
yeah, it's the same amount as,
it's the same amount of stars and courthouse steps. It's the same amount.
yes.
It's just because I'm doing the smaller one, my quilt will be a little bit smaller than yours.
Yeah, so
It's
Crib is
the same
36.
number.
Lap
Yeah,
is
so
80.
So you would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5 is 25 stars, and you would need 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Wait a minute. Sorry, that math is wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 5 would be 20 stars, and you would need 20 courthouse stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's-
Jody says she'd like to make 8-inch blocks. That would be a little challenging because they only make them in the 4 and the 6. But I guess you could buy the 6.
Well, I don't know. Let me go over and look on Fat Quarter Shops before you say that because she's done the woven star for other things, and there might be an 8-inch woven star. Let me look.
That'll just get the 6 and then blow it up.
Yeah, or you
That's-
could blow it up. Yeah, if you know how to do that.
Go to the photocopy and say 150%. It should go to 133% or whatever it is. There's ways of figuring it out. So that's always an option. What pattern are we using? We are using the Wove or
Star Climber.
Yeah, the product itself is by Sew Emma. You can buy it on Sew Emma's website, or you can get it on fatwatershop.com. This is the Woven Star pad, and it's all paper piecing. It comes with 42 of the little papers that you can use to make these, and they're about, I think for the 6 inch, I think it was $10.48. And then the same thing for the courthouse steps. And then the 4 inches are a little bit cheaper. And then the pattern itself is the Star Climate, which is at Fat Quarter Shop. It's a free pattern. You just need to get the papers, and the link for that I have just put in the chat as well, so you can see that. So hopefully that answers your question for you.
It looks
Joy
like
says, "Oh, it's FP."
Yeah, it looks like it's just 4-inch and 6-inch on the Fat Quarter Shop's page.
Yeah, but the 6 inches go together they go together pretty quickly. But the six, I think you could make a decent number of blocks in a fairly short amount of time. So if you can't get it to work at 8, I think the 6 would work almost as well.
Yeah. Sean originally tried to do it the traditional method, because Kimberly didn't. And I think maybe here's what Joy T. If you don't want to do FPP, you might could contact Fat Quarter Shop and find out if they have a writer that can do it in the traditional.
Yeah.
Kimberly said the reason that she chose the paper piecing because it made it easier to make the star as the versus trying to do it traditional. The traditional, you end up doing lots of half square triangles to get that same star instead of having one long piece where you don't have, have seams. Because you could actually technically do this in half square triangles if you wanted to. The whole thing half square triangle. But you would have seams everywhere.
Yeah, it'd be harder. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining. So I better run because I've got other duties today. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, Katy, so much for hanging out with me for a little while today. It was fun hanging out with you and getting some of this stuff done, even though we had a couple little boo-boos here along the way. When are you live again next?
I will be live Thursday, but can I answer Joyce? Let me answer Joy T's question, and then I'll give you some information. Joy T, I opened my little Happy Mail Friday on Friday Night's Live. I did it, I think about midways because I waited for people to come in. Because I got stickers and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So Thursday I have a live. Friday and Saturday I have a live. I thought I had here's my calendar. For Saturday, wait a minute. Yeah, for Saturday the 17th, normally I do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but I'm just mentioning Saturday because both Janice and Shonda are going to come sew with me on Saturday again. We had to move it 1 week ahead because one of them had other engagements that they had to be on. Also, the crochet live that I was going to do with Andy, Shonda, and Amanda, that's been pushed from the 20th to the 27th. And I'll keep on announcing about that. That's been changed. I have one pre-record podcast I'm working on with a creator. I was kind of hoping I could snag Zaza for a interview, but I want to do Zaza. And if any of you guys, and I'm sorry, I should not use your channel to do this.
Oh, you're fine.
Any of you who want to see me interview someone, send someone my way because I'm kind of short of interviewees these days.
Yep, it's hard. Yeah, it's hard work getting folks lined up. So that makes sense.
And summer's coming, and when summer gets here, you can forget it.
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Wait.
Wait.
The next live for the Star Climber will be over on my channel. Yes. On was it the second Sunday?
I think we've been doing the second Sunday, so it'll be the 14th.
We've been doing it the first Sunday.
Oh yeah, but I've been out of town the last couple of firsts.
Yeah, you've been out of town. Yeah, so let me look at June and I'll tell you the date. Unless Sean changes it, we should be live June the 1st.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll
Or
let you know if it
start timer.
changes, but we should be good.
Yeah, let me know ahead, like not 2 days
For
before,
sure.
please.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I have it marked in a calendar. So yeah.
Yeah.
And y'all
Okay.
have a happy Mother's Day for all you mommies out there.
Yep.
Yeah, love you guys. Thank you for coming. And
Yes.
Sean,
Let us know you watched.
Sean, you're the
Well,
best.
yes. All right. Well, you'll have a great day. Happy sewing, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.